UFC should get rid of women's MMA now. I'm done. I'm sick of it. UFC, get rid of women's MMA now. In 2 weeks' time. So we got a 2-week break now. What great main event. What great fights will we return to in 2 weeks' time? The main event is Erin Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. Like, I could end the video now, because I think, like, you hardcore based guys, MMA guys, fans that watch this know what I'm talking about. But I think I have to, like, spell it out a bit even more, really, to make the point, like, very, very clear. 2 weeks time, main event, Blanchfield Barber. A week after that, UFC 316, the co-main event. So the main event is Merab O'Malley 2. We don't really give a... it's not really that interesting. It doesn't really have that much hype. Most people think that, yeah, Merab probably decision. Again, boring fight. Wasn't that exciting the first time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, how great will they stack up the undercard to make up for his main event? We know UFC want to push O'Malley when he defended his belt the first time against Marlon Vera. The super stacked card. I believe Blades Almeida was on the prelims, like Pedro Muniz and stuff. Munoz. And the co-main event of that card, I believe it was UFC 299, was Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier was in the co-main event and brought even more eyes. Oh, look, O'Malley's a big star, so let's stack up the undercard to make him look big. So what do they do this time? To bring in views. Kayla Harrison versus Juliana Pena. And this also shows how much women's MMA suck, because Juliana Pena was calling out Amanda Nunes as the number one contender when Amanda Nunes beat Miesha Tate for the title in the main event of UFC 200. Juliana Pena, who fought early in the card and won, was in the crowd and was screaming at, I want the Amanda fight, I want the Amanda fight. That was in 2016. Next year, that's 10 years. So we're 9 years removed from Juliana Pena being the number one contender to fight for the belt. It seemed at the time, of course, Rousey came back, and then Shevchenko, I believe, after that beat Pena and set up the rematch. And we will get to that. We will get to the Nunes main events. We already named 200, okay? So now, 9 years later, Pena's not the number one contender, but she's the champion. And she's fighting a man, or not a man, what should we call it? She's fighting... minimum, if I'm being generous, a woman that has been on PEDs for like 15 years. Just so we are clear. Look at Kayla Harrison. She looks like Triple H in a dress. Wink wink, nudge nudge to Dana White like 15 years ago, calling Cyborg Vanderlei Silva in a dress. I like that one. That's good. That's good, Dana. You bald, pissing... yeah, back when you liked Dana White. So anyway, this really made me feel some type of way, and really made me think I need to make a video about this. Because 2 weeks time, what will we come back to? Blanchfield and Barber. A week later, the co-main is Harrison Pena. On the pay-per-view, like, I think it's bad enough that Shevchenko and what's her face, the Mexican, that they are main eventing Fight Night. Like, put them in the co-main. I mean, I guess the belts no one cares about. Put like Pantoja in the main event of a Fight Night, co-main event Shevchenko. You know what I mean? Like, don't have them on the pay-per-view. And we will get to that also, the main card stuff. Should we move on? Okay. Of course. This is gonna be a bit of a rant. I don't know if I have the best order here of stuff. every single time it's a pissing decision. Every single time. We just like a week ago, 2 weeks ago had... Wasn't it a week ago when we had JD and Belal co-main again? Like, people come... After the last pay-per-view, people, that performance of JDM, sick, great, we have new champion, we have damage and fucking violence back in the welterweight division. Gone with Belal. Go back to fucking Pale, yeah. Go back to there with your big nose. But in the co-main, who stunk up the card once again, as they always do, Shevchenko Mananfirat. I don't know what she was doing, honestly. So we just had that. And, like, there's no... The problem is, when people sometimes look back at fights, even a trash fight like, Romero Adesanya, and people look back on that, and I mean, Adesanya can go and hump a dog, I don't care. But like, Romero Adesanya, there was so much hype leading up to that fight, and when you watch the fight, even if it was boring, but you still was like in the first one when nothing happened, Adesanya fainted as always do, Romero stood there, and you're like, what's gonna happen? And then I believe in the first round, out of nowhere, Adesanya went in for like a kick or punch or something, and Romero boom, landed a really big bam on him, and you were like, oh shit, like, Romero gonna like beat Adesanya. It was so even getting into round 2, 3, and 4, but okay, this is pretty dull, but still you had it like Romero can knock him out anytime, and we have just saw what Adesanya did to Whittaker, his fight with Gastelum, and we know Adesanya can style and just be a sniper, bam. At least like TKO Romero or hurt him or whatever. And as I said, Romero has that big knockout power, as we have seen before. So even when a men's fight like that, especially high level, title fight is boring and trash, it still is like, anything can happen. So watching it back now after the fight, after we know what happened, it's like you don't care. But watching it live, it's not. It's still that suspense. And I think you guys that watch live a lot know what I'm talking about. But when I watched Shevchenko and Manonfirat, there were no suspense. It's always this tippy tapping, and even when you have like a power puncher, like, I don't know, Jessica Andrade or whatever, like, it's still, it's like Leon Edwards, like, yeah, he, we got a KO over Usman, but otherwise it's decisions, and it's like, we have, yeah, it's so frustrating that the only good thing about that, I can say that, yeah, it's good that, okay, a women's fight up next. Okay, I know I have about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to go take a piss, chat with the boys, like fix some food, and when I get back with some nice hot food to watch the fights, or some snacks. Okay, now the walkout to the next men's fight starts. So, like, nowadays when I get away for a few minutes and come back, what, is the women's fight already over? Like, I think it's a prank or something. Like, who am I on, like, what's the ridiculousness? What's the prank shows I'm thinking about? I don't know. But I'm like, am I, pinch me, I'm dreaming, like, it's weird. First round finish. Okay. Oh, look at that boom down here, yeah. So, yeah, always decision. That's a big point. And this pisses me off. How many times have we seen, like, even when it's a good main card, you look, this fight, and like, so 4 fights about good stuff, and then you see like the 5th fight, often like the second or first often second on the main card, I believe, on pay-per-views, because they know that no one wants to like, open the pay-per-view and first fight, women's fight, so they put in like second, even feature fight sometimes third. And then you see like sometimes ranked, exciting, hyped men's fights on the prelims of pay-per-views, and on the main card you see like Darren Andrade or maybe not the best example. It wasn't anything special at all, but like for women's standard, whatever, Barber or whoever it is on the main card. And you have like, I don't know, I don't have Rob Font or something on the premium, so you're like, what? And it doesn't even have to be ranked. Just you see like up and coming exciting prospects, could be heavyweight, could be bantamweight. And you have the women on the main card. On this last one, did we have Grasso? What's her face? The hot one, Santos? I don't know. The Grasso fight. Natalia Santos? No, Natalia Silva. Every Brazilian is Silva, of course. So we had Silva and Grasso. And 2 fights later, we had Manofriot versus Valentina Shevchenko. On a pay-per-view, what is it in... I mean, I'm lucky here in Sweden that I don't have to pay like you guys in the US. But what is it, $80? $80? It's sad. I'm sorry for you guys. I can maybe send some cash to some of you, because paying $80 every month for these last pay-per-views, I don't know, man. I don't know. But with the women being on the main card, it's a travesty. It's disgusting. And we get to this here. You can go and search this stuff up, by the way. It's public. I don't have any inside information. But like the numbers, man, no one cares. No one cares. And did I even say in the beginning of the video that what did I say? Yeah, UFC, you need to get the women of the UFC. Yeah, I think I said that right. Yeah, so it's clear what I'm ranting about. We don't need women in the UFC. They don't bring in any money. And speaking of not bringing in any money, so if you just go like the lowest pay-per-views, of course you got the back from the 90s, early 2000s when no one was watching. But for someone like Nunes, who being in the McGregor era where like the UFC peaked. Even with Nunes knocking out like back to back, she was on like 1 million buys pay-per-views. And you say, oh, doesn't this ruin your argument? Of course not. UFC 200, of course, got 1 million. The main event, of course, it was first like, was it gonna be McGregor Diaz 2? Was it gonna be Jones DC 2? Of course, McGregor got pulled from the pay-per-view because he didn't want to do like much media or something. He did want to train for the rematch, and of course Jones popped, as he always does. So DC fought Silva, so the main event became for UFC 200 became Nunes Tate. Horrible, and this was even when no one knew who Nunes was. So she got such a big spotlight there, finishing Tate, I believe, first round, maybe second, I believe first. Then 6 months later, she got the main event again against Rousey. 1 million because of Rousey, of course. First because 200, then because of Rousey. And after that, she had all the opportunity to bring in some hype. And UFC, like, not good for the Rousey fight, but they tried to promote Nunes. Like, they didn't promote Demetrius Johnson for shit, for anything. But he still, got done, like, 200 buys and stuff, like still like double what Nunes got, who they tried to do stuff with. And her fight with Spencer and Pennington, after she got this big spotlight, was 85k buys. And for people to get that in perspective, like, I mean, nowadays I think the pay-per-views are so down, so like I think like 300k, 400k today would be amazing, but especially there back then, 2018, 2019, 2020, Nunes, yeah, sorry, what was I gonna say? Yeah, like normal pay-per-views back then, like even like bad pay-per-view backstage were like 200, 300. Of course, Conor always got the 1 million plus, and yeah, man, I mean, even like, I mean, you could take anything as example. Habib got good number, but like normal back then, even for people that wasn't big pay-per-view draws or anything, like people who made event that they got like 400k, 500k. Like that was pretty standard back then. And Nunes 85k. No one cares. You got Rousey. Good on you. And I honestly don't know exactly what. I mean, UFC just promoted the piss out of her. And good on them because they did something right. She exploded before Conor, and Conor, of course, became bigger than Rousey because why wouldn't he? But they did a good job, of course. But I think it was big hype with the feminism bullshit and that Rousey, first, women's champ in UFC. They were bringing in the women's bantamweight division with Tate and everything from Strikeforce. So big hype, big promotional stuff, and of course that helped. Why is it? Get this off. I'm tired. So of course that made sense that Rousey became big as he did. That was once and one time only. Nunes 85k twice, and she had other fight. Not around the same. Where you look at the worst pay-per-views, you got other ones like Holly Holm, Durandame, you got Nunes, Shevchenko. Like, you have the proof in the pudding, or what I'm saying is. Like, it's obvious, and they don't bring anything now. The UFC is not in a good place right now, but it's definitely not getting better because of the women. And I hate that Joanna and Wei Li fought. I mean, they fought twice. Good KO the second time. But even that they had that war, because every time you shit on women's fights, it's always the same stuff. But did you see Joanna Wei Li? Like, one time doesn't prove like the... It's one time out of 100. Come on. Can we delete that fight, please? So they do so bad numbers. It's not even funny. I don't know how long I've been going. If you agree, please like and subscribe. I'm breaking down. I'm so frustrated about this. The problem is you have big fights we care about with the men, and they are violent, aggressive, good at fighting. And you had Morales versus Burns just last night, and I'm gonna talk about that, I think, in some other video. And that ended, 3 minutes into the first round. That's the fight that we want to see, like the scraps, for a few rounds. But instead, it's the big hype fight. We get the early finishes and stuff with the men, or finish in the second, third. But with the women, it just goes on round after round. We don't care. We just don't. So what's the solution? I think it's good in this video that I try to bring something and just don't hit on everything. Actually, before that, not only the women being on the main card, why are they main eventing pay-per-views? We have seen you can main event with Colby Masvidal Diaz, Dustin Gaethje. That's not his name. Dustin and Gaethje, not Dustin Gaethje. Dustin Gaethje versus Justin Poirier. Even back in the day, like, I love Demetrius Johnson. I think he's amazing. I should do a video about that also. My GOAT list, the Riot GOAT list. But he's number 3, I believe, on mine. I love DJ. I love his videos. I like him. I like him very much. I love him as a fighter. I have gone back and watched a lot of his stuff. So he's great. So I'm not putting Demetrius Johnson down at all when I say this. Why didn't they put Demetrius in the main event of pay-per-views? They did sometimes, but like, instead of, like, we would take anything over Nunes. We had Nunes Aldana in Nunes' last fight. Nunes Pena 2. Just main events. Spencer, of course, like Pennington. And you know, fight night main events. I already mentioned that with Grass or Shevchenko and that stuff. So what's the solution? I even looked it up. They should just give, if the women are such a big draw and people care, because people, you see the left wing media. Apparently, people care about the women's fights. Prove it. Like, put them on a different, they got UFC, women's UFC or something, and that will go well, right? Prove it. Buy the pay-per-views. But wait, Invicta, we already have seen what happened. Invicta still exists. I googled it, I looked it up. Invicta still exists. No hype, no one talks about it. It's completely dead. If I got it right, they have a few events a year. Invicta FC, of course. Over there, you got didn't you from Invicta get women like Esparza, Rose, etc. So we already have proven, like, if Invicta, which is an all women, Invicta FC is an all women's fight league, I believe. I'm pretty sure. I looked it up, and I've known about it before, unfortunately. And it's completely dead. It's died because no one cares. No one buys. I don't know the model. I wouldn't imagine they have pay-per-views, because why would they? I mean, they can't be so deluded. But yeah. So the solution: have the men over here, have the women over here, and see how it goes. But they won't do it because we have Invicta, and we saw what happened. Like, now when Trump is the president, the boys are back in town. I don't know what. Dana is such a simp. I don't even know. He's not even running the UFC. Is it? What's the name of that? Hunter Campbell. Is it Hunter Campbell? Was it the other guy? Sean Shelby. I don't know, man. It sucks. Get the women out. I'm done. I don't care. I just don't care. 2 weeks off and Barber.